welcome to Battle Talk. I am Don Battlehawk, and today is my special on what is the UFL from a business standpoint. Too many of us, the UFL is what brings football that we love onto our screens or into our town, but it's not your standard sports league, and it's important to understand that the UFL is owned in part by several people or groups. The most vocal right now would be Mike Rapoli. Most sports league follow the franchise format. Each of them has its own owner or ownership, and they're not businesses unto themselves alone. They are connected to the greater league, but depending on the situation, power and decisions flow both ways, even if in different ways, right? They can't really separate, but there are rules that govern how they exist, both the league and the individual teams. And they also form a collective ownership. So the NFL is the main governing body, and then all of the franchises make up its ownership, right? So the franchise, in effect, all the franchises own the major governing body, and they collectively together make the rules and the decisions on the greater league, which enforces them supposedly equally amongst all of those franchises. So it's kind of set up that way. See, and therefore, you have teams with different ownership. So each team is going to work, ideally, when they get together at a meeting to set rules and policy, they work together for the interest of everyone. But when it comes to individual team operation, they're going to work for their own interest, whether it's trades or anything like that. Now, the UFL is owned by a group as well. Yet this group owns it all together, not individual teams. And that includes all of the teams and all of it at once. I like to look at it kind of like restaurant chains, right? The UFL would be a chain that is made up of corporate stores alone. Like I think Hot Now in California is a corporate owned chain. Every one of its locations is owned by that parent company. Okay. And some restaurant companies have franchise locations, right? Some of them are made up purely of that. There is an ownership group, and then they sell franchise rights, and then other people come in and they own the franchise, and they get the food from the group or whatever the case may be. And some are a mixed bag. Some restaurant chains have corporate locations and franchises. That would be like McDonald's. And all of these models work fine, and for different reasons. There are plenty of good restaurants out there that are just franchised. There are plenty of good restaurants out there that are corporate owned, and there are plenty of good restaurants that have a mix thereof. But the UFL would be corporate-owned franchises. Okay? A sort of example of something that is a little different from the NFL and the UFL would be Major League Baseball, the MLB. It's owned by the clubs as well, just like the NFL is, right? But the minor league teams are owned for the most part by others. Okay? Other corporations, other groups, other individuals. But they sign an agreement that's not unlike a restaurant franchise deal to become a farm team, a minor league team. So, yeah. And that's why all of this can be confusing, because a lot of us don't really know how the NFL operates. We don't really know how the MLB or the NBA operates. We don't know how minor league ball even operates. And you could, in some capacity, compare the UFL to all of those things. So yeah, it can be confusing. right? The UFL owns and controls all teams outright. Each team is a branch or a storefront for the UFL. So this is the crazy trade situation. Understand that there really are no trades in the UFL. They're transfers. They're just intercompany transfers, right? The UFL has 8 teams, and they're effectively playing with themselves, right? It's the UFL playing with itself. And ideally, they would all do well, and there would be so many happy customers because they were all just killing it. But you have to know that that's not possible. And this model can work, but it can only work if people understand that it's just not possible. But when the UFL makes a decision, it must do that with that in mind. Hey, team is really not doing well right now. We don't want to directly say this team has to do better, but maybe we'll move someone from this branch to this branch and see if it improves this branch a little bit. Every coach in every market is there to work for the UFL. That's most important to understand. You have to understand that. Now, we hope that the directive is that they want to win, that those coaches want to win for that market. And I do believe that it is in their best effort, not their best effort, but their best interest if they do try to win, because the UFL can be a portal to a better coaching job, collegiate coaching, the NFL, or whatever that pays them more money. And if you're in it to win it, you're more likely to get it, right? So all of this it can seem like it's pretty muddy. Like the whole pond that we're in right now, it's not a clear, crystal clear pond. It's a muddy pond, but it's still fun, right? As long as you know where to swim, as long as you know where to fish, and as long as you don't do anything dumb, you have a good time in the pond, even though it's a little bit muddy, right? Man, maybe you get some better fishing in the muddy pond sometimes than you do in the clear pond. Sometimes if you go swimming, you're going to come out looking like the Swamp Thing. But that's okay, man. You got a shower at the house. Use it. Okay? Hey, I'm fine with all of this. It's entertaining. Now, that said, things can get troublesome. If you have several groups of owners that have their own best interest at heart as a team, then you don't get mid-season rule changes. Now, almost all of us like the fact that the overtime rule was changed. We just don't all agree on when it should have been changed. And there's still discussion on the aftermath. You're not going to get that with a franchise setup because the owners are going to balk at that. They're going to go, no. Or even if they like it, they're going to wait. And a lot of people say, well, you don't want the fans to have power like we do now. And I'm like, no, I mean, I want the fans to have power. But I think there's a way to implement it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope now you understand what the UFL is, right? It's a single entity doing what it can to bring us spring football and bring them ratings and money and stuff like that. And it's not like those other leagues. And it's good if you understand that, or at least have an understanding of that concept. And whether this video did it or not, I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed it. Now, you notice I'm not in Battle Talks gear or Battle Hawks gear for Battle Talk. And it's because, one, I am going to go teach here in a few minutes. And two, this really isn't specifically about the Battle Hawks. So I thought, why throw on a shirt if that's not the thing? Now, tomorrow I'm going to do my power ranking going from week 4 to 5 and my week 5 picks. Okay. And then we will have pregame, halftime show, and postgame on game day. And then, depending on how I feel and what I want to do, we will have a review show on Sunday or Monday. And I also have the why relocation was needed when it comes to certain teams for the Rapoli UFL plan that I'm gonna talk about. It's more of the business and breakdown of it all sometime next week in between player profiles and week reviews and stuff like that. So if you enjoy this, please give me a heart, a like, subscribe, follow me, whatever. I am Don Battlehawk, and this has been Battle Talk.